I think it's a validation to the fact that if you make a good film, it will reach out to the audiences. We have just got so much love from everyone. We were all so surprised. So I think for me that is the difficult part. You've put in so much of effort, but people haven't seen it, or it hasn't reached to them, and then you go through the feeling of itni mehnat kyun ki maine. And that's what is truly evident with Laila Majnu. I still remember third day the posters were pulled down to finally then seeing it grow, and the way it grew and it keeps growing, and you realize that it's something that will probably stay relevant for next 5 to 10 years. And that is the beauty of the film for me. But once you have that opportunity, once you have shown that you are good enough, the industry does validate it, and enough names and people are here to be showcased for it. This whole Nepo conversation I find very loser talk. Working with Mr. Bachchan, the confidence that came into me to be just able to stand and know that, I can stand in front of him and I can do my job. That means I am good enough to be here. I was doing action with him at that point of time. So it was, कि मैं सर को मारूंगा, it's just, of course it was. I'm sure if Mr. Bachchan walks in right now, everyone will shit their pants. Not really, but.
Hello and welcome to Bollywood Bubble. I'm Aakruti Bagla, and today I'm with someone who has not only charmed us with his good looks, but also proved that he is a versatile actor. From romance to comedy to intense characters, you name it and he plays it. So Avinash Tiwary, hello and welcome to Bollywood Bubble.
Thank you Aakruti, thank you so much. That was a lovely introduction. अब मुझे कुछ कहना ही नहीं पड़ेगा.
हाँ, because हमने बोलते ना सब कुछ prove कर दिया.
Thank you so
No, but Avinash, honestly, looking at Madgaon Express, the kind of work you have done before, we could not expect कि आप comedy भी कर सकते हो. Though I don't want to reveal much about your role, let it be a suspense, but was it a refreshment for you as well कि I can do a comedy film as well?
I mean I didn't doubt it, but it was very liberating to do this. It's also just the fact that the parts that I was playing earlier, they are very indulgent parts. You had to really indulge in it for a couple of years, 3 years, 4 years. Madgaon Express just happened to be much more liberating. I had to just I had the freedom to express myself. I had a lot more fun on set. Also because the film is so much fun, So for me, it was a very liberating experience for sure.
And how was your bond off screen with everyone?
Off screen also, it was quite fun. I think I keep saying this. We kind of reconnected like school friends. It's the first time we met. We decided to go to Alibag to do a prep, and we did a lot of readings there. But at the same time, we decided to play, and we decided to play cricket. We decided to play pool. Table tennis, and it just turned out to be 3 friends who have gone out on a vacation to chill. And since then, we've been sharing most of our life to each other. So it almost feels like we are school friends.
But if I have to ask you to recall, a memorable trip in your real life, what would it be?
Friends के साथ यार actually जितने किस्से होते हैं ना वो publicly बोलने वाले रह नहीं जाते हैं. So I have a set of 4 friends जो हम first standard से friends हैं, और हर साल हम लोग अभी भी इंश्योर कि हम एटलीस्ट 1-2 जगह जाएं घूमने के लिए. और वो जो सारी ट्रिप्स होती हैं वो ऐसी होती हैं जो हम कभी बाहर आकर किसी को बता नहीं सकते, बिकॉज आई हैव माई ओन सेट ऑफ, मतलब मुझे लगता है कि मेरे डोडो और पिंकू भी साथ ही चलते हैं मेरे, और हमारे इतने कांड होते हैं. हर ट्रिप में एक ऐसा कांड होता है कि अगले साल तक उसी के बारे में चर्चा होती है.
Avinash, I also want to know कि जैसा प्रैंक डोडो का कैरेक्टर आपके साथ करता है, that is Divyendu's character. I don't want to disclose it, but has it ever happened in real life as well?
I know a friend of mine who has done it to another friend. So वो तो मतलब he's been someone who has called a person to a place, stood there, message saying that I'm running late, I'll be there, made that person stand for 3 hours, and they say, sorry, I couldn't make it that day, we'll meet you next Friday. He has really played that game for almost 6-7 months. So I've seen this happen in front of me, but not to me. Yeah.
Looking at the climax of the movie, सब लोग already expect कर रहे कि क्या ये story अब लास वेगास मूव होगी क्या, उस पे क्या कहना चाहोगे?
इसका सही जवाब आपको कुणाल खेमू और रितेश सिडवानी दे पाएंगे. मैं अगर आप सारे एक्टर्स से पूछें, they all want to do it. Audiences से पूछें, they all want to do it.
They do it, yeah.
Now it's about the audiences making sure that the film makes enough money कि हमारे director producers वापस जाके film बनाएं.
You know, making enough money से I want to ask, अभी within 5 days जो collection रहा है film का, I know you must be following it. How do you feel finally कि okay, you know, finally we have done justice to the
I think
product.
it's a validation to the fact that if you make a good film, it will reach out to the audiences. Thankfully, we have just got so much love from everyone. Yeah?
True.
We were all so surprised. You don't expect this. You don't see a comedy film getting 4.5 stars from all the critics around, and the joy on the audience's face is something that I really, really wish I can see every day of my life. It is really addicting. मतलब मैंने जब वो देखा, जिस तरह से लोग आए और जिस तरह से खुश थे ना, आई विश कि आपके काम की वजह से इतनी खुशी दूसरों को होती है, मैं हर दिन कर पाऊँ. आई रियली फेल्ट लाइक दैट कि it's a feeling that I want to cherish for all my life.
But you know, Avinash, more than that, even individually your characters, the way the reception it is getting,
Yeah.
did you expect that? And what has been like the most, you know, achieving comment you have received?
I think the fact that everyone has loved the trio.
Yeah.
The friendship has really, really reached out to people. And they look so relatable, they're believable. Kudos to some performances also, because it came through in such a realistic space that itna sab kuch ho raha, but they seem so real and relatable. I think that's been the USP of the film. मुझे बस ये लगता है कि ये चीज़ तो हमें लग तो रही थी कि अच्छी फिल्म बन रही है, बट ऑडियंसेस का ये रिएक्शन होगा और इन तीनों को इतना प्यार मिलेगा, that was something unexpected. Also just feeling, मतलब especially for Ayush, the way people have liked his charm, the kind of attention that he's got for his looks, वो मेरे लिए थोड़ा नया हुआ है कि मैंने, क्योंकि इससे पहले जो किरदार किए वो हमेशा काफ़ी गरीबी से या फिर बहुत ही इंटेंस तरीके से आते थे. दिस इज द फर्स्ट टाइम दैट माय लुक्स हैव बीन एक्नॉलेज्ड एंड लव्ड. Feels nice, of course it feels nice.
You know, also the fact that film is an ensemble cast. You know, Avinash, आपने पहले भी सीरीज में काम किया, like बम्बई मेरी जान हो गया, काला हो गया. You have been a part of, you know, ensemble cast. But कभी वो apprehension होता है कि okay, what if my performance is overshadowed or something?
नहीं यार, मुझे I've been very secured that way. Also in a way, the only so-called ensemble that I've done was Tu Hai Mera Sunday, right at the start of my career. Most of the other films have just straightforward headline. Yeah. And which is why Kunal would always say कि तूने ना solo किया है, I want to see how this mix works with the other actors. And for me, I don't think of it like that. I just look at it as a script. This is my part. This is how we are going to play it. The most important part for me in the film was to ensure that the three of us really go along well. That the three of us sound right to each other. And the moment it happened in the personal life, bring it on screen was something that, because we've been doing our job, the craft is there, so you could translate it to real, to on screen. But हमारे सुर ना बाहर ही बहुत अच्छे बैठ गए. That we are very lucky, thankfully.
You know, Avinash, one more thing. It's been more than 15 years in the industry now.
Yeah.
If I ask you to reflect back and recall one good moment and one say disheartening moment, what would it be?
I want to say 15 years in the industry, 15 years of acting for sure.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I think good thing is to know that, I think the best thing about my job that I really, really, really like is the fact that there's so much love that you get. You know, that you're able to create such an impact on audiences. I do whatever I do, we do our work. Eventually when it reaches the audience and all of them have that kind of joy, or they have tears rolling their eyes, they come and give you those hugs. I think that's a feeling that is something that probably a job like mine gives you. The difficult part of it would be just that it's so unstable. You don't know how the audience would react, right? You don't know how your work would be received. Sometimes it doesn't reach you also. So I think for me that is the difficult part. You've put in so much of effort, but people haven't seen it, you know, or it hasn't reached to them, and then you go through the feeling of itni mehnat kyun ki maine, you know. So that's the sad part of it. दोनों एक ही सिक्के के दो पहलू एक तरीके से, but that's how this job is.
But don't you think with the advent of OTT, चाहे जो भी हो काम पहुंचता है, and it has happened with your first film as a lead, I mean Laila Majnu, you
yeah.
have spoke about it several times कि जब release हुई film को वो recognition नहीं मिली,
जी.
but over the time, even today, like कुछ भी हो, people watch that film.
Yeah.
How do you look back at that thing?
I think it's something that Imtiaz sir told me right then. He said कि if it's a good film, it will keep growing on and it will it will find its audience. And that's what is truly evident with Laila Majnu. It came off, I still remember third day, the posters were pulled down to finally then seeing it grow, and the way it grew and it keeps growing, and you realize that it's something that will probably stay relevant for next 5 to 10 years. And that is the beauty of the film for me, that the films that unfortunately that I've become part of have become films that would stay long enough in that genre.
Yeah.
You would keep talking about Bulbul as far as fantasy is concerned. There is a certain kind of coolness to how Bombay Meri Jaan was made, which reaches out internationally. Khaki has its own rawness to it. Madgaon Express is a comedy that I'm sure will be spoken about for years on. So if you're able to be part of films and stories that can stay on for a long time, और क्या चाहिए?
Avinash, you started with television. How did this transitioning into films happen then?
I think I was never part of television as such. I didn't want to do private television the way it was working. I never found myself good enough to do it. So I would do weekly shows. I wouldn't do daily soaps. There were weekly shows on DD National that I used to do. And my idea was, यहाँ पे कोई DD देखता नहीं है. So I will go and work there, ensure my bread and butter keeps happening, and I'll still maintain a novelty in my life, in my career. So it started off with that, but the idea was always to do films. And here I am doing films, living my dream, and very happy in life.
But don't you think that also gave you a chance to act with Mr. Bachchan? I mean, with Yudh.
Yeah, but so again, Yudh was not conventional television if you look at it, right?
Yeah.
It was one of a kind. There was not a show like that where limited series shows were not happening on television. It was completely a film unit doing that show. So I've always been part of stuff like that, and which is what but what Yudh did for me was working with Mr. Bachchan. The confidence that came into me to be just able to stand and know that I can stand in front of him and I can do my job. That means I am good enough to be here. That is very important. I think the feeling that I'm good enough happened in Yudh television, and I'm still trying to get better. But I know I'm good enough to do this job. That is one thing. I wake up every day, I go on set, and I know I'm deserving enough to be here. That is something I really have great pride in.
But was it intimidating back then?
Of course it was. I'm sure if Mr. Bachchan walks in right now, everyone will shit their pants. Not really, but yeah, that's the kind of aura that he has. We've always looked up to him, and to be able to, I was doing action with him at that point of time. So it was कि मैं सर को मारूंगा. It's just for a new actor, my legs were not moving properly. But yeah, I mean, from there on to what we are doing today, I'm sure if he sees it, he'll be proud of what I've done.
Obviously. And coming again to Laila Majnu, how did you back that project? Because that is my most favorite film. I'm speaking as a fan as well to you now. How did that first meeting with Imtiaz Ali go?
So Imtiaz sir se meri mulaqat Sajid ne karwai. Once I'd met Sajid a few times, and then he called me. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "नहीं घर पे हूँ." अच्छा, clean shave है तू? Clean shave है? मैंने हाँ. तो एक काम कर, घर आ जा. When I entered, I saw Imtiaz sir sitting there, and I was obviously I was like, "अरे ये तो test हो रहा है." You get into that sort. But he was so chill. He said, "Sit. You wanna drink something?" So he drinks a lot of chai, and then he ensured that we have his chai that he had got from some place, and sat down and spoke about the film. We didn't speak anything about anything else. क्या कर रहा है लाइफ में, क्या होता है, कैसा चल रहा है, क्या नहीं. He spoke about everything else about my life, and yeah, that was it. He made me so comfortable I could start talking to him like I was talking to Sajid. I think this is a quality that all these greats have in their life, that they make it so comfortable for everyone around them. They sense that the others are slightly uncomfortable, take the extra effort of doing that. So yeah, thank you, Intesa.
बट अविनाश कहते हैं ना, जो इंडस्ट्री के बाहर से आते हैं उनके लिए यहाँ जगह बनाना काफ़ी मुश्किल होता है. हैव यू एंड्योर्ड सच हार्डशिप्स और से द बेयर द ब्रंट ऑफ नेपोटिज्म इन योर करियर टिल नाउ?
I mean, I started acting in 2003 and I got my first decent opportunity in 2018. So of course there must have been difficulties to be able to get there, right? It's difficult for an outsider to get those opportunities. Having said that, I truly feel that the industry also validates talent. If you are talented and you have done good enough work, of course they won't know it unless they see you do something, and that is always the vicious cycle of how do we see you unless you do get an opportunity. But once you have that opportunity, once you have shown that you are good enough, the industry does validate it, and enough names and people are here to be showcased for it. This whole nepo conversation I find very loser talk, because they might have some privilege, but you can have a privilege of opportunity. I have the privilege of converting them, because I've stayed there, I've prepped well, I've done the hard work. I will be in a better position to convert it. That's how I have always looked at it. मेरे एरिया में बॉल आएगा तो मैं छक्का मारूंगा. That's as simple as that.
But over the time, how have you become immune to say rejections in life? Because I'm sure, like as an actor, you do face that with every second film, I say.
I think it was very clear to me. I never took it personally. It was not about I am not good enough, I'm not right for this, or I always thought that it's very difficult for you to see me in 2 seconds and imagine the kind of actor that I would be. So our whole audition process initially used to be, the less I speak, the better. It's now that there are targeted auditions, what part you're coming for. You're called for specific parts. So there's a more distilled, filtered auditioning that happens, and hence it is much better than what it used to be. I never took it personally. I knew that when I was walking in, I started doing auditions when I had given 2 years to train myself as an actor. I had done 2 years of theatres before that. I walked into the auditions believing that it is for me. There's no one else who is ready enough. This was my true belief. I might be wrong about it, but that's how I used to think at that point of time. I still do.
But leaving engineering behind and then venturing into acting, that too at a very young time, you did that. Were there any apprehensions? Okay, how will I manage financially? How will I convince my parents about it?
I mean, there were apprehensions of how I will convince my parents, but with life and all of that, I used to feel कि मतलब मुझे मेरे घर वालों ने, माँ बाप ने इस लायक भी नहीं बनाया कि I can fetch for myself, that I won't be able to live a life for myself. I never looked at it. I really wanted to thank them. That's a way of living life, that you thank your elders and tell them that you are good enough to be able to sustain and survive yourself the way you want to live your life. And that's how I was brought up. So मैं उनको कैसे मनाऊंगा यही ज़रूर था, लेकिन मुझे अपने ऊपर बहुत यकीन था कि यार कुछ ना कुछ तो कर ही लूँगा. I mean, I didn't think of that I would be where I am. I really did not know where I would go. मुझे कहाँ पहुँचना ये नहीं पता था, क्या किस राह पर चलना है ये ज़रूर पता था. And I kept walking there. बाकी तो करीब आई मंजिल बढ़ा दी. जिंदगी एक मुसलसल सफ़र है, करीब आई मंजिल तो मंजिल बढ़ा दी.
But then, Avinash, back then, were there any financial struggles you endured? क्योंकि एक successful career से पीछे छोड़ा and एक uncertain career में कदम रखा.
See, Mumbai is an expensive city. So if you don't have constant flow of cash, you would feel hand-tied so many times. But by God's grace, every time I felt that I can't handle this anymore, something would drop into my hands. So I've been blessed that way too. So all the struggles, they might be very, very difficult. Every time I felt like, okay, I can't take this anymore, something would just drop by. And I can't thank that enough. So yes, there's been difficulties, and there'll always be. I'm sure there'll be in future as well. But this faith that I will sail through, will never leave me.
And from that time to now being one of the busiest actors, what's upcoming next?
The next one is Mehta Boys. It's with Baman sir. Baman Irani has directed it. It's written by Alex, the guy who wrote Birdman, the Academy Award winner film. and it's a father-son story. It's a beautiful, heartwarming story. I'm sure when you like it, something is gonna happen. So I believe. Fingers crossed.
And are you also planning to go into direction, जैसे acting से direction?
यार मुझे ना मतलब मैंने ऐसे मुझे बोला जाता है कि शायद मैं ये कर सकता हूँ. I'm too lazy यार. Very honestly, too many decisions to be made as a director. I think maybe later on in life. Right now I'm really enjoying acting and जो खाली समय है मैं उसमें enjoy करना चाहता हूँ. But maybe direction is something. Maybe 10-15 years from here on. Who knows?
Thank you so much, Avinash, and looking forward for your projects.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Aakruti. Hi, I'm Avinash Tiwary. Thank you for watching Bollywood Bubble. Hope you enjoyed it.